Today we're taking a look at the brand new 2024 RX-8 Ultra from Hoyt Archery. Just a reminder guys, head on over to mikesarchery.com to pick up any of our latest logo gear. We got plenty of hats and shirts as well as any gear you might need for your next adventure. Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and today we are taking a look at the brand new 2024 lineup from Hoyt, and this is the new RX-8 Ultra. So this is the long axle to axle version in this carbon riser, and we want to break down the specs for you and give you an overall idea of what this bow is doing. So let's take a look at the specs on the new RX-8. Now the speed is coming to you at 332 feet per second, and then the axle to axle on this bow is 34 and 11/16, giving it an overall cam to cam length at 39 and 1/8. Now with the brace height being at 7 and 1/16 of an inch, it's got a nice high brace height that's going to be a real forgiving shooter. This gives us a reflex at 5 and 3/8. And then the advertised weight on this bow is coming to you at 4.4 pounds. Now, as we pulled it out of the box with everything on it, we got it at 5 pounds even, and then pulling the stubby stabilizer off of it, took it down to 4.8 pounds. Now, that is also due to the fact that there are no rubber dampeners on these new bows for 2024, but they're still keeping the quiet and vibration-free shooting without all the extra rubber on them. Now, the draw length features on this bow, they did change up the cams, obviously, for the new year, but you're going to be able to get the Ultra going from 27 inches out to 32 inches on the long end, so fitting most of you guys on the upper end out to 32, but not giving you a lot of short draw options. You're going to want to drop down to the regular RX-8 if you're a shorter draw than 27. Now the draw length option on this bow does go from 27 out to 32 inches, covering most archers and giving you that upper end for you guys with the 32-inch draw. But if you are a shorter guy, you're not going to be able to shoot this bow if you are shorter than 27 inches. You're going to want to drop down to the regular RX-8. Now the draw weight on this bow is coming to you from 40 to 80 pounds, which has been the standard norm from Hoyt over the last several years, giving you those high weight options if you're the guy that wants 80 pounds. And if you are a younger archer or a woman or somebody that just can't handle that weight, you can get this bow all the way down to a 40, 50 pound max. Now the let-off option is different for this year on the new cam redesign. You're able to adjust this cam to 75% let-off as well as the 80 and 85% let-off on that draw stop peg on the end of the module. So let's take a look at some of the features on the new RX-8 Ultra. Now they kept with a lot of the integrated features that they've had in the past. You've still got your pick rail mount up front for that inline sight system. You've got your QAD rest mount on the back to get that integrated rest. We've still got the same inline quiver system, so if you want to bring this package in tight and set it up with all Hoyt accessories, you still got all those same options that we've had in the past. The SL sidebar, your short stubby stabilizer at the bottom. There is a new set of Go sticks. It's a 2.0 that is going to have some retractability and adjustability in that. So that is a new feature on the bottom of the riser there. But overall, all those same features are the same. There is a new thinner grip. To be honest, it looks and feels pretty much the same, but Hoyt is saying that the new Vital Point grip is a little thinner than last year's model. Now let's take a look at the new cam redesign. This is the new HBX Xact Cam system. To get the optimized performance out of every draw length, they've gone to a 3-module system. You're still going to get that draw span on the Ultra with those modules, but it just changed things up a little bit with the way they got there. Now there are 3 screws in there allowing adjustment. There's definitely some adjustment here that is new with a 1/4 inch adjustment on the modules, which is nice, and then having that extra holding weight. If you want to drop down to a 75% let off on these new modules, you can get a higher holding weight on this bow to just get off the string a little better and allow a better shot. Now the other thing we noticed is on the end of that module is the option to make a hard or extra hard back wall setting. If you flip that around, you're going to be able to just adjust that feel at full draw with this module. Now with that cam also came a new 1/4 inch threaded axles. So that is going to allow us a threaded axle option to not crush those bushings as well as the bearings in this cam for longevity through the life of this cam. With that also came their new shim system. It is an aluminum shim system rather than the nylon shims that they've used in the past. There's going to be 3 sets of shims there to be able to adjust this bow and get a perfect tear. The aluminum obviously going to hold up a little bit better over the time of shooting rather than the nylon bushings they've had in the past. Frankly, we were hoping they would do something with a little better tuning system there, but aluminum shims is better than the other. But we've still got a shim system there that if we're adjusting this, we're still going to have to shim this bow back and forth to get a perfect setup on it. They've also redesigned the limbs and the limb pockets on this bow, giving it a slightly wider stance than they have in the past. With the new B2 pocket and a 7/8 inch wide limb, it gives an overall 2 3/4 inch wide limb stance on this bow, which is about 3/16 wider than what we saw on last year's bow. Now, one of the other features that Hoyt has come up with is the longer effective axle to axle length. Now, let me try to break that down for you. So basically, once you're at full draw with this bow, these new limb system and new limb pocket are not flexing as much as the old models, thus giving you a longer axle to axle at full draw. They're saying about 7/8 of an inch. This effectively makes this bow shoot like a longer axle to axle bow. Now, the Ultra, obviously already a long bow to begin with. This is going to allow you to get even a longer feel with that effective axle to axle being longer, giving a more forgiving bow at a shorter axle to axle. You're going to see this across all their bows for this year. They've also included the new wire WRX strings. This is their new proprietary strings from the factory. This is going to be a high-end string using the best materials from BCY, and you're not going to want to switch these out to an aftermarket string. It's not going to be necessary. This is a high-end string. It's going to show low creep and no rotation in your peak. So the other new feature on the cam is the new cam foot. This is going to allow you to keep your cam tracks out of the dirt, out of the mud, whether you be hunting or at the target range. It's got a nice little nub on the end of it that sets it above the ground. It's on both ends, keeping you from banging into stuff and also keeping that cam track clean. It's also going to work in conjunction with the new 2.0 Ghost Stick, keeping your bow and cam off the ground. Now, Hoyt has an extensive color palette on all their bows for this year. It's pretty much the same as last year, except for the new Tombstone Gray that you see here on the Ultra. That is the new solid color. They kept with the bourbon as well as the wilderness and a black. And then you've got several camo color options with Realtree Edge, QU Verde, Subalpine, Elevated 2. You've still got the Raptor Origin stuff. And then you've got your special makeups in the Bone Collector Realtree in black. You've still got the Cam Hanes, Keep Hammering, Raptor, as well as black available there. Now, the price point on this bow did go up slightly from last year, and you're going to see an MAP retail on this of $1949. So the carbon bows are creeping up, getting close to that $2,000 mark, but so is everybody else's. So if you're wanting to step into the carbon bow market, you're going to have to spend some extra change. Now from here, we're going to step back to the lane. We're going to shoot this bow over the chronograph, giving you a full breakdown of the speed as well as noise rating and overall feel of the bow using multiple weights of arrows. And as usual, we will be shooting this bow at 29-inch draw length on 70 pounds at the 85% let off. All right, so we've stepped back here to the lane with the RX-8 Ultra. And we're going to put this thing over the chronograph, give you a breakdown of all the numbers and how this bow shoots. Being a longer axle-to-axle bow, this is kind of where I like to fall. If I was going to shoot a Hoyt, this would probably be one of my picks, being the Ultra, because I just like a longer bow. But let's see what kind of numbers this bow puts up. All right, so with a 350 grain arrow on our standard setup at 29-inch draw length, 70 pounds on 85% let off, we got 306. Now with a 400 grain arrow, it dropped down to 287. With a 450 grain arrow, we got 275. And with a 500 grain arrow, it dropped down to 261. So overall, pretty well what we would have expected on speeds out of this bow. It's not going to be blistering fast, but it's plenty fast enough. And it is a nice shooting bow. Now, when we take a look at the noise rating on the new Ultra, we're looking at 98.3 decibels. So this bow, not a super quiet bow, but also not a super loud bow either. It's right there in the middle where most bows fall. Just overall nice quiet hunting rig. And an overall long bow that would be really stable. If you're looking at longer shots and just want more forgiveness, this is definitely a bow I'd look at. Now that redesigned cam has got a really nice feel. Comes over, drops into the back wall pretty nice. It's really smooth. Exactly what we'd expect out of Hoyt. All the new redesigns and adjustments. I'm sure as we get to play with this bow more and just play with those adjustments of the holding weight and the let-off adjustments and that 1/4-inch draw length, all those things that they incorporated in these new cams, it's just going to be really nice to adjust and work with setting these bows up for you guys. Again, the new Vital Point grip. They say it's a little thinner. Feels pretty much the same to me, but we really like the Hoyt grip anyway. So this grip feels very much like last year's and is still very torque-free, very shootable grip on this bow. The aftershot on this bow, usually carbons feel a little different. Whatever they've changed with the limb pockets and new cam design, this bow is very dead. Doesn't really have that carbon feel to it in the aftershot, but overall a fantastic shooting bow. And if you're looking at a long axle to axle and you're wanting to be in the carbon game, this is definitely one of the top options that you should take a look at. So if you're looking for a new Hoyt, most certainly give us a call here at Mike's Archery. Check them out at your local shop. And as always, all those accessories, the new Go Sticks, all those new quivers, everything that they've got for 2024, we have those available on the website. So be sure and jump on the website and grab whatever accessories for Hoyt that you might need, as well as some logo wear. So give us a call at Mike's Archery if we can help you out on getting a new Hoyt in your hands.